Is it okay to call someone a fascist if you believe he's a fascist?
Yeah, I think that is okay to say that. I mean, it's a descriptor of someone's politics. It's not inciting violence against them. I think it's legitimate comment. I mean, again, we come back to the fact that he did not accept the result of that election. That is something I mean, of real significance to do that as a top politician. So yeah, I think if people want to say that, then they can.
Was there a moment in this, because it's a terrible event and someone died and we have to remember that, but also he was on the floor, his ear bleeding, he'd been shot, he had goons all around him that presumably was shouting things like "it's now clear" or whatever, but he still made the choice to stand up and shout "fight, fight, fight" with his arm in the air. That felt like he saw the opportunity and wanted to seize it.
I think it was a moment of political genius, to be honest. I don't want to, as you say, kind of, it's important to remember that someone died and people were injured, and this is a very serious thing. But the fact that in that moment of something so shocking happening to you, that he had no warning of it, and that he immediately went to going, wait, 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 to the people around him and doing that kind of fist pump and saying, fight, that really showed. I think for a lot of people watching that, they will think those are Trump's true colours that he's just shown. He's a fighter. And perhaps a lot of American voters will think, we want a fighter on our side. That's the kind of person we'd want as president.
But does it make a mockery of then any attempt by him or anyone within the Republican movement to call for calm and unity? I mean, they are two completely different things, aren't they? The visual image is actually not calm. It's asking people to fight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just think we're talking now about taking the heat out of this moment, out of politics because of this moment. That's not going to happen when the man who it looks like he's going to win the election didn't accept the result of the last election. That's just not the situation. So yeah, as you say, to say now this is a kind of unifying moment is just silly.
I mean, I take that point, but I do think we all have to fight against people that want to assassinate political leaders. I don't think that's something we need to be divided on. We should all be united that that's something we want to fight against. And I just wonder whether or not if it was a democratic president, or perhaps a president who was less controversial, who got up after someone tried to kill him and said fight, whether or not we'd be having this conversation about whether or not it was inappropriate. I think the response would be quite different.
I don't think anyone's saying it's inappropriate. I'm saying I think the point is that maybe it's tonally different from where he's going to go. And maybe you can do both. I mean, I think I've seen universal praise for Donald Trump doing that. Some people are saying, well, maybe he was making it too much about him. He was endangering his civil service, his Secret Service people by doing it. But the vast majority of people, I think, Albie, have said this was an old man, who some were questioning his ability to stand. Nothing like as much as Biden, but like, Biden is very old and is very infirm, but Trump's no spring chicken. He can't really necessarily handle things very well himself. That was definitely a story. And he seized the moment and to show that he was strong. And America likes strength, I guess.
Well, especially in contrast to Joe Biden, who, of course, last week, I mean, this news we've almost forgotten it. But last week, he made that awful blunder at the NATO summit when he confused Volodymyr Zelensky for Vladimir Putin. I mean, this is a man who Donald Trump is exuding strength and ability, whilst Joe Biden is exhibiting the complete opposite.
If you were advising the Democrats at the moment, what would you both say? Continue to fight to change Joe Biden as a candidate, or actually there's so much going on over there now, just stand as still as you can?
No, absolutely. They have to change candidate. I actually think it's incredibly insulting that they haven't sorted this out, because this has been an issue for years with Joe Biden, and the people around him must know very well that this is the kind of his state of mind and the way that he responds to things. He can be very lucid, of course. He can talk in detail about policy and complicated foreign affairs, etc. But then he makes these mistakes that are just unacceptable, and to not have sorted that out yet, I think it's a disgrace.
I'm with Sienna on that. I don't think they should be thinking, oh, there's something over there, there's something to look at. They need to change Joe Biden as leader if they want a chance of beating Donald Trump at the next election.
Do you think Trump had already started to shift his strategy a little bit? It struck us that at that debate, he didn't really clown around. He didn't really mock Joe Biden. He let Joe Biden condemn himself out of his own mouth. He's then had this moment, this heroic moment that's going to be good for him. He's now already talking about unity and calming things down. We've had some Republicans on this morning that think he will try and do that. It's a sign that, I mean, it's easy to disparage Donald Trump because he's done so many awful things, and in lots of ways he's a ridiculous figure. Yet he managed to be the most powerful man in the earth by virtue of being good at politics. Do you think there's a chance this will show him being good at politics? It's easy to say he's no longer good at politics. He's gone so mad, and January the 6th was so mad, and what he talks about on Truth Social is so mad, and some of his supporters go too far. But there may be a core still of a very, very able politician there.
January the 6th was mad, and I don't support Donald Trump's version of conservatism by any stretch of the imagination. But I do think he has showed quite sound political judgment recently, especially during that debate with Biden. Also, this tone that he struck after his assassination attempt. I think it'll be interesting to see how he is at the Republican National Congress this week, which I believe is happening in Milwaukee.
Yeah, it's about to have John Pinar's there for us. We'll be reporting that all across the week. So is it okay for Democrats to call Trump a fascist, that type of language? Because that's one of the soul-searching questions because we're trying to work out, we've got to support free speech, you've got to allow people to be passionate and angered and respond naturally, but is it okay to call someone a fascist if you believe he's a fascist?
Yeah, I think that is okay to say that. I mean, it's a descriptor of someone's politics. It's not inciting violence against them. I think it's legitimate comment. I mean, so again, we come back to the fact that he did not accept the result of that election. That is something that, I mean, of real significance to do that as a top politician. So yeah, I think if people want to say that, then they can. I mean, there are other comments that might be unacceptable, but I don't think the Republicans could really fairly say that just because people had called him a fascist, that means they're somehow responsible for this kind of violence against him.
World is a great guy. He wants to just do his job, and every day, every week, every month he gets hit with a subpoena from Schiff and from Nancy Pelosi, who's crooked as hell. Look at her stocks. I mean, she did better than Warren Buffett. I don't know about her husband. I don't know who the hell's running that deal.